Emma! Okay. Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office, listening to the trial from the gallery. So she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before. Don't be. This is the truth. It's funny, I almost feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah. I know what really happened. I think all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by a terrible man. She did all just to protect you. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it's easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside, to force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do. That must be why she became so cold. It's all her fault. It's all because I murdered Marshall. Hey, don't go blaming yourself. You want to blame anyone, blame society. You can't maybe be able to fool everyone else with his forgery. But you can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. You better get back. It's time for the final act. Why don't you wait here? Alright. Whatever you say. Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. Damn right. It's been far, far too damn long. Let's keep going. Takes a while for it to save. Alright, final act. Let's get this over with. Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana, take the stand? Again. Miss Lana, you're the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all I've done in these past 2 years. Please provide the court your testimony, Miss Skye. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth. Of course. The truth. Lana, no matter what happens, will always be your sister. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Gant. Everything hinges on your testimony. Don't screw this up, please! Gant and the fabrication. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Marshall's body, I ran to the crime scene. My motivation was to get Dark convicted, nothing to do with Emma. I smell bullshit! Are you sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. God damn it! She's lying again! If this is true, then that means Gant has nothing to do with this. That's why I've been telling you from the beginning. Oh, I will! Well, she's telling the truth. She's not! Yeah, this is no time to start second guessing. It's time to start pressing everything. Just like before. How many years exactly? Ever since I made senior detective. I was 24 then, that'd make 5 years. Detective Gant and Detective Skye were legendary partners. Personally saw them testify in numerous cases. She must have been good, being from the same school as Mia. Damon Gant was a respectable detective. That's why... Bullshit! Bullshit! Think about it, Miss Skye. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me so much yesterday in jail. Still don't get it. Do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. Yeah, a dead Goodman. I fabricated the evidence. Did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. His sister almost became his last victim. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. But what she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. That's why you fabricated the evidence. When I found Marshall, I arranged the crime scene. You say you did this all by yourself? Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to discover this scene. A broken prosecutor's award was stuck in the victim's body. What? Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's the only situation you dreamed was possible. Bullshit! The reality is, it was my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Yes, that's all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change the statement. You mean, Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark? Something like that. If that's true, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. Oh, he knocked away in the scuffle. It's not how it went down. She's coming up with more lies. You lie! You lie! So when you found this crime scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife and planted inside the wound and moved the body. You planted the tip of Dark's knife in the victim's wound, then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that bad, but I always asking for the sake of others. Why did you move the body? You showed up at the scene. Where exactly was the victim's body? By Chief Gant's desk. The body was found near your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. The reason this guy moved the body. Pieces of the jar that shattered threatened my plan. Alright? Pieces of the jar, you mean... Yes, that wretched jar Mr. Wright showed us earlier. Oh, and you're not screwing up now, are you? Or to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So when you found the body, the jar was already shattered. It had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Marshall was dead and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have broken during their struggle. I see. What's the matter, Emma? Apparently the jar shattered at the moment the crime was committed. But I have a feeling there is more to it. There's a contradiction in here somewhere. I call bullshit! I'm going to present the jar in question. Objection. Understanding how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Marshall was murdered? If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been useless. Even so, I am compelled to bring everything to everyone's attention. The significant contradiction within your testimony. Hell yes. He testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan." That's right. You have a problem with that? Simple oversight. See, a message written on this jar with the victim's blood. The prosecutor must have written it in his final moments. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, It had not been broken before he died. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. Order! Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. We must be missing something critical here. Something critical. Chief Prosecutor? Seems you're as in dark as we are about the truth towards which we're headed. Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well, the witness may continue the testimony. Second testimony, jar and message of blood. I immediately noticed the traces of blood on the jar, but it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. Fragments were large, so I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. You mean you're the one who wiped away this message in blood? I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. You didn't think Dark was the real murderer. Why should she try to erase the real evidence? Very well, the defense may cross-examine again! And that I will. So, the jar was already broken. It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier. Certainly looks as feeble as the defendant's case. Oh, screw you! Feeble as a judge's judgment. A detective who never missed a detail, I really expect us to believe that you did investigate what was written on the jar. Normally I would have. I've always liked how they go from one statement right and back into the testimony. So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No. If I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and ground them to dust. Really, that helps my case. Do that for me? It seems you two might make up yet. I barely had enough time to move the body as is. If someone happened upon that scene, you'd lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry. I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came. This is rather shocking. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. I'm afraid the section of yours reveals what really happened. What do you mean? If you really thought Dark killed Marshall, you wouldn't have wiped away the blood. What else could I have done in that situation? I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything else but gather up the pieces. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. But how could you see with the power out? It should have been pitch black. The detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. But now I carry a pocket light and a camera with me. I never missed anything. I got every last piece. All I can think about is wiping them clean before they were discovered. So you illegally arranged the crime scene. Yes, I don't have any excuse for my actions. You know she's full of shit. After we get to the bottom of this. More contradictions have surfaced in her testimony. Sister's really putting up a fight. She must really care about you. Still, she's not doing this the right way. I think I finally figured out the contradictions in her testimony. There's one final possibility that can turn everything around. I know what it is. Let's find it. It's not you. It's not you. You did not get them all because one of them was found in the goddamn safe. Jar conceals a truth that even you are unaware of. We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gant's safe. The Chief's safe? But how? I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it. But the witnesses testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off of all of them. Yes, which leaves us only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up at the scene. Chief Gant got there before you. Couldn't the defendant simply missed a piece? I don't think so. I'm afraid that's unlikely. Pieces were too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. Then maybe everyone makes mistakes. Even I wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Huh, can you believe that? Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken. Oh, that. There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. The other person discovered the scene prior to the witness. Hope you're not implying that the person was Chief Gant. This time he was looking for Dark downstairs. Besides, and if he was there first, why would he break the jar? The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide the fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer that? Really? Why are we overacting with the judge? Jesus. Wait. I'm not the one on trial here. Someone Gant arrived at the crime scene prior to Lana. He proceeded to break the jar and purposely hide one of the broken pieces. The question is, what is this action called? Fabrication. Why would Gant do it? In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Sky believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark, sparing Emma. And here is the reason. The reason why Miss Sky became the chief's puppet. Ooh, we hit a nerve. No, you did not. You please get over it. Bullshit. Foul lies. Imagine that coming from my own client. I do seem to twist the truth. Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap? Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Lana may be right after all. What do you mean, right? So, do you tell fool lies then, right? Miss Sky, please testify once more. What? If evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing for Prosecutor Marshall may also be a lie. Miss Sky, if you will. God damn it. Nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. Testify about what I really saw. About goddamn time. Jesus. Actual crime scene. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled in that suit of armor sword. Emma and Dark were laying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what happened, I thought she did it. That's when I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. If it was all really a fabrication, Emma might be innocent. Unbelievable. The body was impaled on the armor sword? You are the only one who saw that. If you only had proof. Actually, I do have proof. Ooh, do tell. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. Me? This picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. Thought it might be needed. But I don't remember receiving a picture like that. She must have known. She must really have faith in you. Very well, Mr. Wright, present this picture. I don't remember receiving any pictures. Give it to you this morning. Must be a picture in there somewhere. No. That's not it. No. All I got was this. I guess we can check this out. It's a chicken with a pipe? That's odd. Okay, what? Examine. It's a picture. There's a picture here. Oh my. This is the actual crime scene. No other detective saw the crime scene like this. That's because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after rearranging the scene. At the picture! Mr. Wright, that piece cut up from a vest. Could that be cloth we found inside Gant's safe? What's this? It's a handprint. That cloth, it had fingerprints on it. Whoever fingerprints those must be the real murderer. What? But those are yours. Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. As long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flush out the real murderer. Very well, the defense may cross-examine. Alright then. We arrived and found Marshall's body, blah blah blah. What the hell? I didn't even press it! What the hell are you doing here? Come on now, Udgy. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen. Chief Gant. Now you want to make me out as a bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense. I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined testimony. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. This must be the risk the judge was talking about. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck. Ah, so what? You think I'm worried? Oh yes, after the expression you just did. Sorry to disappoint you. But I don't need to make any statements. What do you mean? The evidence will do all the talking for me. And if I can't testify, I can still present evidence. Yeah, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence? No, I don't. But someone does. Someone? What's your excuse, Wright? Oh no. Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Mr. Marshall, causing his death? Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt? It's true, Mr. Wright? If I show that piece of cloth now, Emma's sure to be made out as the murderer. Do we have any more evidence? Present it now, and if you try to conceal anything, you'll be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries. What do I do? Better think this out. Be good. Can afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present that piece of evidence? The one that shows who really killed Marshall? We can't make Emma be out to be the real murderer. We can't do it. I'm not going to show evidence. I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. What? You lie! Chief Gant? You opened my safe. You took what was inside it. Conclusive evidence. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it. What are you talking about, Chief Gant? Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area? Looks like part of it's been cut out for some reason. You mean you had this in your safe? What? That means you, the chief of police, concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department. Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Wright-o. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as a murderer. I'll tell you what really happened. What? You mean you admit it? I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana. So you really were manipulating her. I knew Lana. She made it look like the blame lay with her sister. Then when she saw the scene, she would ask for my aid. So you assisted Miss Sky. I told her to arrange all the evidence. I had her plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room. And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dark convicted. When I rearranged this crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. And this is before Lana arrived at the scene. 2 pieces of evidence. Keeping those items in your safe. Why? For insurance, of course. Insurance? I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for a murder that girl committed. You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging evidence? Who do you take me for, a fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. See the star fragment? I hid the most legible piece of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood off all the pieces. But if you fabricate all the evidence, what's to say that you didn't fabricate the message on the jar, too? Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept one more item for insurance. You mean, that piece of cloth. Come on, Wright-o, cuff it up already. I know you have it. Are you waiting for Wright? So you admit to it then, Chief Gant. You were hiding the cloth you cut off from the victim's vest in your safe? Yes, I admit it. I don't want to have anything to do with that being chief and all. But it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer. You have to say for yourself. Just a moment ago you said you didn't have any evidence that you could present. A foolish move, Wright-o. You should have shown it then before it was too late. It's been a long battle. But the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up, here, victory is mine. Alright, jackass, I will show evidence. I do have evidence present now. See this conclusive evidence. Evidence that shows who really killed Prosecutor Marshall. Now here's where you want to present the cloth. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of cloth from the victim's vest. Oh yes, at last you finally brought it out into the open. There's a handprint on this piece of cloth. Your Honor, the prosecution requests that we immediately sent to the lab for analysis. This handprint on the leather must have been a strong impact for it to be made so clearly. You mean it could not have been forged? It must be authentic, conclusive evidence. Oh ho ho. You're slow on the uptake as ever, Worthy. What? Think about it. Wright-o had us all time to present this evidence. Yet he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be? You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that? That's right. You really know? Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they? Very well. I'll tell you. Should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. The person whom these fingerprints belong to are... Emma Skye. Emma? Emma Skye? What? They're mine? Sorry, Emma. Why didn't you tell me? It's all about the situation. Ho ho ho! Really something, Righto. This girl did it all along. And yet you still try to pin the murder on me. So it's true. Tragic, but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death. How could you? You monster! The Skye? You knew those fingerprints were all along, yet you acted like she really didn't. Wrong. Miss Skye, it's not over yet.